I like to introduce y'all to the king. I like to introduce y'all to the king. Now all I need is my crown and my ring. Now all I need is my crown and my ring. I like to introduce y'all to the king.
Welcome back to KQ Life Motivation. I'm Zuhair, aka Mr. J, and today's skills interview, I believe we're on episode number 4, will be the first of its kind. All right, so we are taking it virtual already. In the light of this whole thing that's going on with this pandemic, I think it's only right. Also, if that's something that you're interested in, please let me know. You unfortunately won't have the luxury to be able to sit in one of these thrones. Man, these seats is mad comfortable. But anyway, you won't be able to do that. But if you are not in the Rochester, New York area and you want to be featured on the show, whatever have you, please contact me, KQLmotivation@gmail.com, or if you follow me on Instagram, reach out, direct message me. Let me know that's something you're interested in. Big shout outs to the Queen for collaborating with me to make this happen. Let's get right into her segment, and let's go.
A little bit about myself. I'm in my 40s. I have 2 perfect daughters in their own right. I have 2 sisters younger than I am. Half brother, half sister. I had both a mother and a father in my home. My stepdad raised us as best as he could and knew how. My mom always knew a man wouldn't take care of kids that weren't his, but looking back now, that wasn't the case. Meanwhile, my mom always had 2 jobs. As far as I can remember, she had 2 jobs. I hated it as a kid. I wanted to be home. I was in sports and stuff like that. I wish she would have showed up. Of course, every kid has that wish. And she always said to me, finish school. That was her only thing. That was her only stress on me, finish school. So when I started acting up in high school, she knew that I was not going to do what she wanted me to do in terms of getting my education so I could get some money. Money is the tool that was important to her. So I got sent away, lived with my dad in Vegas for a while. He was pretty lost himself. Raising a daughter wasn't really something he could do at his age. He had me when he was 18. By the time he had me as a teenager, it was kind of, where could he start? So I ended up going to Texas, living there for 12 years. I was pretty much on my own. I did have family that kind of helped as best as they could with somewhere to stay and raising me as well. I pretty much had to figure things out on my own in terms of how to be a woman, what kind of woman I wanted to be. I didn't know how to do life, so I had to learn by watching others. And when I saw the way that others were living their life and I didn't approve of it or want that, I would move on to the next, So I ended up dropping out of college my first year. It was hard. It was difficult to not have stability in my home, and then trying to get an education. It was bumpy and rocky, but I did graduate. So I ended up getting married at a young age because I thought that he could help me in life that I wanted. Getting married in your 20s is not a good idea. I knew it wasn't for me, but I unfortunately didn't know how to not be afraid. So that was always my thing in life, was fear. So it wasn't until recently in my 40s that I learned you can't be scared. Dogs can smell fear. And so I had my two daughters. I worked two jobs at one point, part-time student online, got my associate's degree. It wasn't enough. To me, an associate's degree is equivalent to a high school diploma nowadays. So I said, okay, let me keep going. I got my bachelor's in health administration, and I am proud of myself. It took a long time. 10 years of pushing, crying, laughing, loving, disappointments, the whole, typical struggle of any person, man or woman. So I can say now the dust has settled and I am where I want to be as a woman. I am lacking on things like a relationship. That's always been there, but I couldn't put in my whole energy into a person because I this is what I wanted to do first. Getting my education, making sure I have money, making sure didn't have to depend on anyone because of the lifestyle I wanted, the things I want for my daughters, or how I want to be viewed as a woman. That didn't include having a person as my downfall. I do want friendship and love and someone to vacation with or share just special moments with. Anyway, everybody wants that, so I'm working towards that now. I do have faith. Prayer is a big deal in my life. I instill it in my daughters. We have to have something to believe in. Without that, you're going to continue to be frustrated and lost and needing something, yearning for something. And for me, prayer has been that rescue for me, the hero. My grandma would always tell me, if you're going to pray, do it from your gut, do it from the pit of your stomach, and then leave it there. And that was always tough for me to do. And I just wanted to worry. That was my vice. I have to worry. If I'm not worried, if I'm not struggling, then I'm not doing it right. But that was totally wrong. That was not the case. I've dealt with people dying. I had a son when I was married, but he didn't make it because all I did was work, and I didn't take care of my body. So I had to experience losing a child in my 20s. That's what kind of led me to my faith. Medication wasn't going to work. Medication wasn't an option. Until this day, it's not a cover-up. I'm not going to put a bandage on something that is not going to heal me. So prayer is my go-to. It's easier said, but yeah, that's a little bit about me. I paint as a hobby. I get lost in it. It's very therapeutic. It helps me from the anxiety of worrying about life and how I want things to go. My guy told me once, you can't want when someone else doesn't want your wants. So yeah, thank you for that. But that's me in a summarized version. So what you got next? What queen life means to me is taking care of my throne, protect my throne, fight, go for it, rule, make sure we have, just depend on me, my own happiness and joy. Not too worried about tangibles. Those things are like the icing on the cake, but that's what queen life means to me. Rule my life, all those around me, make sure I'm protected. And if a king is in my life, I'm going to do my best to have his back. And that goes into the next question. My perspective of the backwards K and Q, I think, is reflection. I think of it as a reflection, or having each other's back. When they come together, the king and the queen, protect each other, protect our hearts and souls and the outside world. Yeah. I can't wait for you to let me know what it means in your reasoning. That means to me to do your best at anything you're gonna do. Go above and beyond. Like, kill it. Just kill it, and whatever it is you decide to do, make a plan. Write it down. Think positive, and conquer it. Defeat it. Not in a negative manner, but make it happen. And anything you decide you want to do, and do your best. There were plenty of people who cared enough to take the time to give me direction when I was growing up, because I did have that. I did have family and friends, even coaches and teachers and professors recognize something in me. For me, I just wish I would have been smart enough to take the advice, to change my path and really go for what I wanted to be as a woman, but I didn't. So that's what I wish. I wish I would have been smart enough to recognize those who cared and took the time and really saw something in me, and take the advice. So hopefully someone listening to this might have someone in their lives who care enough to say, hey, don't do this, don't do that, or do this and do that. For me as an adult, I feel like I want that. I want somebody to be a friend, to care enough to say, hey, what you're doing is not going to turn out okay, or do this, or this might work out better if you do it like that. It's hard as an adult to have that, because you're an adult. People already are expecting you to know that you know what you're doing. Thanks for having me. Coming to you from the Midwest, Illinois to be exact, a suburb outside of Chicago, Aurora. Maybe you've heard of it. As Mr. J likes to say, stand up. Hopefully this gives you some knowledge that you might need on your journey in this life.
That setup is fire, by the way. I had to give her a shout out for that as well. Her background, everything, the hard work that she put into. I definitely appreciate that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that segment, the Queen story. Definitely reach out, show some love to her artwork, her page, whatever she got going on. So anyway, that's this week's skills interview. King Life, Queen Life, KQ Life.